Welcome in, Sagittarians, to your August monthly tarot reading. So this is a collective reading tapping into any Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus Sagittarians out there. So as I said, it's a general reading, so this might resonate with you, it might not. Usually, right, I'm tapping in and asking my higher dimensional guides, Spirit, the universal oneness to provide general information that can help all of you. So this is going to try and hit for the most people possible. Also take a look at your other signs, your moon, rising, sun, Venus sign as well. Because sometimes, you know, I'll take a look at like my moon sign, which is Leo, and that might actually resonate more for that whatever time period than my sun sign, which is Scorpio. I am literally like all water and a little fire, so definitely fits with the intuitive abilities I have, right? That watery energy. So I'm doing a little bit of a different read here. I have, as usual, the tarot cards. I am pulling the normal oracle. I have the Sacred Traveler Oracle deck, and then I have the Gilded Reverie Lenormand deck that I use to supplement the oracle cards to give more of a deeper message for you all. And then we'll do the normal kind of spread, unless for some reason at the last minute I decide to do something different, right? It's all about intuitively knowing in the moment what to do. And sometimes you got to take a turn and change your plans. So if you resonate with this message or like this reading, hit that like button. Let me know how it resonates for you guys in the comments, and to stay connected to my videos and the Lyran Tarot channel, hit that subscribe button. I like to think of all my subscribers and myself as a soul tribe here, since we all resonate with this sort of information, spiritual connection, and finding like-minded individuals. So join or subscribe. All right, let's get into it. Let's hit the oracle cards. It's definitely, you know, August is appearing to be very similar energies to July. I feel, or what I've been seeing in the readings and also experiencing myself, is July was that kind of trigger point for tower moments, really initiating change. The tower and the death card were very prevalent last month. So I feel like if you had those moments last month, I feel like it's just this month is about really wrapping up those loose ends and finally moving forward in a direction. And if you haven't had those moments yet, I do feel like that's going to happen for you in the month of August. Again, what those things are for you are going to be different, right? So the first card here for you, Sagittarius, we have Wandering Path, enjoy the journey. Ascending the mountain, keep going forward. Two journey cards, we have a path on both. So you're definitely on some sort of journey. I feel like it's something you've already been on for a bit. This isn't resonating as like a new journey or something that you're just starting. I feel like you're on the path. You've been already on this for a while. Cleansing waters, purification activates vibrant life force. Yeah, there seems to be a little bit of a detour or some sort of kind of, either it's a detour, like all of a sudden you're being pushed to change a path and you're kind of like, what's going on here? Like, I thought I was on this one path and I thought, you know, this is where I was going, and all of a sudden things kind of shift. For some of you, I feel like you've been on this path and you're like, oh my God, am I on the right path? Like, this just never seems never ending. Am I going the right direction even? It's been difficult. It's been difficult or challenging, but also a little where you feel like you've been in this, like this card, you've been in this period of like, everything seems the same. It's kind of like Groundhog's Day. Am I going to get out of this, like, part of the, like, mountain or this path? Like, it feels like, you know, I should have kind of changed my environment or shifted at some point here, and you're not seeing that. So there's a little bit of confusion and like, oh my gosh, like, is this going to end? Kind of like that when you're on a road trip, like, is it over yet? Are we there yet? And they're like, with this card, it's almost like you're re-looking at the map, like, okay, am I on the right, am I going the right way? Like, kind of, and the map to me is more internal, going internally, intuitively, to kind of feel out what that's your map, right? Your internal compass. And you're having to really kind of take almost like a pause and really be like, how am I feeling about this? Like, what do I want? Am I going the right direction? Do I need to change course? And then there's this like kind of a weird out of left field card, which these two kind of go together. And then we have cleansing waters. It almost feels like this is like where you're headed to a place in your life where you feel more life force energy, where you're feeling like you finally are out of the mountain. You're out of like this ascension in the mountains. You're out of like just wandering this path by yourself. And you're finally at a place where you can be like, oh, this relief. Like, this card really has that sense of like relief and, oh, finally you're just kind of feeling like, yes, I'm here. This is where I want to be. And I feel like there is some about emotional cleansing, right? That's what water is represents emotions. So let's get a couple of the Lenormand cards. So let's see, for Wandering Path. So we have the owls. For Ascending the Mountain, we have the fish. Interesting. Like, you're out in nature, and the cards we're getting are very nature focused here. And then Cleansing Waters. Okay, we got the dice. So the owls, you know, again, we talked about you like reassessing your internal compass here. And I do feel like you're getting messages. The owls kind of represent like wisdom or messages. I feel like this is from your higher self or your like more higher dimensional wisdom coming through, trying to give you, you know, some guidance around the path you're on or where you're headed or where to go next. I feel like you're getting those sort of intuitive hits that, hey, I need to kind of reassess. It's almost like, again, you're getting some sort of intuition about like, maybe I need to change what I'm doing or where I'm going. And like the fish represents, again, like abundance, abundance coming in. And I feel like you're on the path of ascending the mountain to, there is a reason for it. And maybe you're kind of questioning, like, why am I doing this? Like, is there some sort of end result? But I do feel like you are heading and ascending the mountain towards something that's really more abundant for you. And it's interesting because we have the fish in the water and then we have the cleansing water. So I feel like that's your end kind of point of where you're trying to get is to the top of the mountain. And at the top of the mountain is really this like very lush, almost like, you know, here the mountains seem very almost deserty, right? There's not much, there's some a little bit behind you, but it's like even though it was okay where you were at, it's like you want something even better, and you're on a path where your soul is calling for you to go somewhere else because there's something different that's needed. And part of the path is getting to this place where it's going to really be emotionally more fulfilling for you. There's going to be more peace and relief and more abundance coming in. And it is taking a risk, right? It is taking a risk to continue forward. It's like, well, I could stop here and go backwards to the green meadow, but there's something calling me in a different direction here. And it's, again, it is a risk. But I do feel like with the fish and the other cards, it is going to pay off. So if you've been kind of waiting, I shouldn't say waiting, because I feel like you've been actively on this path, like you've been actively trying to go somewhere different, but again, there's this, it could be also a pause of like, hey, I feel like I need to go in this way now. Like I'm not going to follow the same path. Like I need to shift. And it could be a risk, but I do feel, again, this risk is going to pay off for you. Okay, let's go to the tarot cards. Shuffle them up quick. So what's at the bottom of the deck? We got the Ace of Cups. This has been coming out a lot for August for all the signs. And the Magician, look at that. So definitely manifesting something a lot more emotionally fulfilling for you. I think there's a surge of emotions that are coming out as well. We talked about this a lot last month in the readings of like people who have had issues are not so comfortable in the emotional space. And Sagittarians, you are fire sign. So again, like you're most comfortable in that fire energy, which is again more of that, you know, ideas and creativity and you know, action-oriented things, like emotions for you. I do feel like, I feel a little bit like for you guys, you're not so out of kind of your environment and your emotional space, like maybe an air sign or an earth sign, but I think there's this new surge of emotions kind of being purged for you. But with the Magician, I feel like this is like manifesting emotional fulfillment coming up. We have the Four of Cups, Queen of Cups. There's, again, going back to your emotions here. And look at, we have the water, a lot of water up here. So you have a big theme of emotions and water for August, and feeling the feels, feeling your feels, allowing yourself to really dive into the depths of your emotions and not feeling like, I'm almost feeling like some of you are like, it's a waste of time. Like, I need to be doing. Like, there's something for you Sagittarians about actively creating and doing things to push you forward. But you know what's interesting with this reading, what it's actually guiding you is saying, well, the more you dive into the depths of some emotions and just allowing yourself to feel, that's going to give you the most progression forward and bring you payback on some of the risks you've taken. And then the Chariot, really moving you forward very quickly here. And it's interesting, when I pulled this Four of Cups, I immediately heard, like, you can see how she looks in the card. I heard this, like, ugh, like this, like, all of a sudden you're just like, oh, I'm, you know, like, I'm ascending this mountain. I've been going on this journey, and I'm just kind of at a place where I'm kind of like, I'm over it. I'm a little over it. Like, when am I going to get some payback, or when am I going to feel like I'm got to a place where I've been really wanting to get for a long time? So this Queen of Cups could represent you. For some of you, it could be reflective of someone else in your life. A water sign, which is Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. It could be someone that you're manifesting in. a relationship that you've been wanting, and all of a sudden this comes in really quickly. But that's gonna be different for each of you, so take how that resonates. So let's see what's going on in your external situation. This is kind of what's unfolding for you, I feel, and what's kind of the reason why you're going through what you're going through right now. Look at that, the Death card. Queen of Swords. Four of Swords. And the Empress. I heard with the Four of Swords, like taking some time out. Taking like a break or a time out to just like, you know, reflect. Again, to feel. I feel like this month is about you going back to your intuition, you kind of really assessing more intuitively. I feel like you're getting some calls from your higher self and higher support. There's some wisdom that needs to come in, and I feel like part of it is directing you on your next part of your journey. And there is some sort of healing that has to happen, or integration, for you to get to that next point. And there's a lot of cup energy here underneath. But then here externally, where you got swords. Okay, so it's more in the head. So I feel like maybe this is a pattern for you, that normally you're more of like make decisions with your head, or more logical, or kind of analyze things a lot, where I think this month is asking you to go back into your emotional space and get out of your head. And there is some sort of transition here, or redirection with the Death card. Like that could mean, again, like you were on this path and something changes and you have to change course. There is a change here with the Death card. And I feel like part of the change is redirecting you. Your emotions are telling you, they're kind of pushing you towards this change. And you're like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. This isn't part of the plan. But I think that's where you need to kind of take a time out and rest to kind of reassess where you're at and where you're headed. Because with the Empress energy here, I do feel like there's something that needs to birth, something new that has to birth, that's really going to be great for you and abundant. And it's going to take this shift and this change for you. And it's like a redirection. A redirection from the universe. Let's get one for the Death card here. Eight of Swords. Yeah, feeling stuck. That's like being stuck too in our patterns. So being stuck in always analyzing, always like overthinking everything. I think too, the feeling of stuckness goes back to you kind of on this journey, on this path, and like that Groundhog Day piece. Like I keep walking forward and I'm following the path that I feel I need to follow, and like nothing's changing. But this has to end, right? And the stuckness is, okay, you need to change your path, but you're kind of like, wait, no, I don't want to do that. But you're going to end up having to. Let's get one for the Empress. What are you birthing here? What's coming? The Hermit. There's definitely a lot of spiritual expansion going on here, and we talked about really needing to go internal, which is the Hermit. You need to really go inward to get some information and wisdom that are coming through to help you birth this new reality. And I think it's taking you down a path, or into some territory where you haven't been before, and that's a little unnerving to you. But you know, Sagittarians, you're kind of you tend to be a little bit more spontaneous and okay with spontaneous changes. So I don't feel like this is necessarily like really difficult for you once you really allow yourself to come to the conclusion like, yep, I'm going to make this shift. So let's see, is there anything else? Let's get one for the Queen of Cups. The Fool. Yeah, for those of you, if this is a new relationship coming in, I do feel like you're going to take a leap of faith, and part of this relationship is going to ask you to change your course in some areas of your life. And maybe you're thinking like, well, no, this was my plan, right? This is my, let's just say, for example, like this is my 1-year plan. But if I go in this direction and you know, be in this relationship, it's going to ask, you have to not maybe follow that 1-year plan, right? So it's going to ask you to kind of start a new path and take a leap of faith here. For some of you where, again, it's not a new relationship and this is really you, this is really asking you again there's a new path that you need to go on here. And it's going to take you to really be okay with this emotional turmoil of changing the path. There's some sort of emotional tie to this that you're going to really have to work through some of those emotions and the kind of tug of war between your emotional body and your mental body of like, should I do this? Why am I doing this? But I'm feeling pulled, right? And that's going to be more tied to your emotions. Because it's more intuitive hits. This isn't just you like, oh, maybe this isn't a good decision. I feel like it's going to take a risk, but I do feel like this is what you need to do and it's going to pay off for you. All right, Sagittarians. I think the theme here is a redirection from the universe to start a new path. So that's going to come up for you this month. I think, you know, by the time, I almost feel by the fall, even by the end of September, October, you're going to have made this decision and be on this new path. So all right, have a good month, Sagittarians, and I'll see you in the next reading.